Welcome back, everybody. We do hope that you're having a great morning so far. If you are in your living rooms watching with your family, if you're at home, if you're already at your job and you're at the desk very early this morning, well, good morning to you as well. And we are very happy, so happy that you are with us here on the Now Morning Show. Now we're going to be speaking on the value of HR in a COVID-19 world. And to chat with me about that, from the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce is Lara Quentrell-Thomas, who is the chairman of Regency Recruitment and Resources Limited, ELR, which is the Employment and Labor Relations Committee member of the same chamber. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us this morning.
It's my pleasure. Happy to be here.
Now, many things have changed because of COVID-19, and one such thing is the workplace and, you know, the job of HR and the function of HR in an environment where so many people are working from home now. Tell us a little about some of these changes and, well, how the chamber seeks to address it.
So thank you. Well, yes, I mean, obviously, the minute that this whole COVID experience began, many managers, many companies, many individuals were required to pivot very quickly, to change the way we worked. But HR was really at the forefront of driving that for organizations to make sure that employees had the resources that they needed, protocols were put in place for working from home, taking company equipment to your home, those sorts of things. So there was so much that was put on the shoulders of HR in a very short space of time, and HR professionals were required to really adapt to something that was unknown. So it sort of drew on all of our experience, our skills, our collective experiences, and we've collaborated a lot. I have to say that the HR profession in Trinidad and Tobago really does support one another, and there's been a lot of sharing of, for example, manuals. How do you now manage a workforce that you're not seeing every day?
Right.
What are some of the protocols and procedures? So at the ELR committee, as you mentioned, part of the TT Chamber, we've been discussing this for the last 6 months as we've continued. I think many of us thought maybe it was just going to be for a couple of months. And now, of course, we're rolling into month 6, month 7, and foreseeable future. And we felt it was time to really address these issues in a very pragmatic way. And so the conference that we're putting on later this week really seeks to sort of fine-tune some of the experience that HR professionals have already had. We've had to really adapt on the fly and in some cases may have made mistakes. So now's an opportunity for us to really become a little bit more strategic using the learnings from COVID to move our organizations forward.
And so let's speak about that conference that you mentioned. What is it focused on?
So what we've done is because it's a virtual conference, the last time we had a conference was a couple of years ago, and of course it was in person, everybody all together, lots of lovely fellowship and networking. This time it's different, so we're doing a virtual conference, and what we've done is we've broken it into 3 distinct topics, 3 distinct days. So each day, the 29th, the 30th.
All right, it seems we have a little technical difficulty. Are you still with us, Lara? All right, well, you know how it goes with technology. Not always our friend. Lara, if you can hear me, if you are able to restart your feed, that would be fantastic, and we'll see if we can come back in with you and continue that conversation, because again, so many changes here with this new normal, as we say. So we want to find out much more about that event coming up, because it would benefit so many people. All right, everybody, we are back here on the Now Morning Show. Now we are going to link with Lara Quentrell-Thomas, of the chairman of Regency Recruitment and Resources Limited, also ELR committee member, that's Employment and Labor Relations Committee member of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. We did have some technical difficulty earlier, but we have been able to link with Lara one more time. So Lara, good morning once again.
Hello and good morning again.
So as we continue our conversation, we are speaking about the conference that the Chamber is doing. Tell us about it.
Okay, thank you very much. So the ELR committee of the TNT Chamber, which is really focused on HR, employment, labor-related issues, is putting on a 3-day conference this week. And when I say 3 days, it's actually 3 sessions. Normally, we would have them all in one day in person, but of course, because of COVID protocols, what we've done is we've actually spread them out over 3 days. Each session is for 2 hours in the morning. So the first one is on the 29th, and that is strategic HR. So looking at the role of HR in directing organizations, how we navigate this very uncertain, ever dynamic world, how the role of HR is so crucial to making sure that you get the most out of your workforce, that you build strong, resilient organizations. On day 2, which is the 30th, we are looking at the risks and opportunities related to working from home, which of course, many of us now are having to manage teams that we're not seeing anymore, except through Zoom and online. So how do you really look at preparing your teams? How do we evolve this into perhaps a more permanent feature of work? And certainly post-COVID, many people will not just automatically be returning to the office, but continue to work from home. So looking at that. And then the third day is the 1st of October. And we're there, we have a very interesting panel discussion on diversity. And this really has come out of the Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, calls for inclusion of the LGBT community in a very profound and meaningful way in the workplace. So what are HR professionals doing to make sure that their policies and procedures are really truly inclusive? And so we have a panel discussing these various issues and how we can make our organizations modern, relevant, and really bring them into what is considered to be the most appropriate organizations that include everybody. And it's important for me to say to everybody that it's 3 mornings, 9 to 11. It's all online, so you can stay in your pajamas and join us. And our sponsor, Massey Group, of course, we're very grateful. Even in times like this with virtual, one still has costs. And so we're grateful to the Massey Group. We have fantastic panelists. The ELR committee is managing the process. So we really do invite everybody who's not just HR professionals, but people who care about their companies, who care about the future of their organizations, to join us.
And how do we register for this conference, for those interested?
Right, so the easiest way for you to go is to actually go and visit the TT Chambers Facebook page, because the link to register is there. It's also on the TT Chambers website, or you can call the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber. The numbers are 637-6966, or you can call 314-5012 and ask to speak to Alison. But the Facebook page is the easiest place to find us, TT Chamber.
And before we go, Lara, what is the expectation, and the intended outcome for the conference moving forward?
So we're really hoping that we have a very robust and very broad dialogue, not just with our panelists, but with our participants as well, to really flesh out how do we as HR professionals, as leaders, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, move our companies through COVID. We hope that it will end at some time, but to become far more resilient, for HR professionals to become more strategic, and for us to really create inclusive and relevant workplaces where everybody feels that they have a voice, they have a stake, and they can contribute meaningfully to the success, not just of our businesses, but of course, Trinidad and Tobago by extension.
All right, well, with that, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, Lara, and we look forward to that conference, and it's a 3-day conference from the 29th to the 1st. And yes. Again, you could go onto the Chamber's website. So with me this morning, Lara Quentrell Thomas, Chairman of Regency Recruitment and Resources Limited, also an Employment and Labor Relations Committee member of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Thank you again.